Hi, Pisces. Welcome to your October 2015 love reading. It's Rena here. And a funny thing that I just wanted to tell you is that yesterday I thought maybe I will make my love readings very relaxing. So I spoke in kind of a breathy ASMR voice. And it really went badly when I went to play it back and was trying to construct the video. You could barely hear it, and it just sounded like I was on a Valium drip. So I'm doing it over again. And I also wanted to say for people who have not listened to my readings before, what I do is target those who are in problematic relationships as well as people who are single and looking, and particularly people who are single and looking and are kind of frustrated because they seem to run across relationships that are problematic over and over again. And when you see patterns in your life, it's a really good policy to investigate further and not just shrug your shoulders and assume that it's random. Because I don't believe that anything is random, first of all, but also I think that sometimes we don't realize that we can affect change. We think that it has to come from the outside towards us, and I don't believe that. So that's why I do personal readings that I call self empowerment readings. And these are using your astrological data in addition to a tarot spread to get you the most accurate love reading that I can give you. And you can find the link below on that. And I always want to give a message that people can really change their reality by changing themselves. And so, in terms of the cards that I picked, I think that they were actually pretty cool for you. The card that represents how you're doing at the moment emotionally was the star card. So, that's like a very hopeful state of mind. And why would you be hopeful? Well, some of you may have actually met somebody that you like, and maybe you're dating, but you haven't taken it to the next level, and so you're in love, and you've had a string of bad relationships, and you finally met somebody who really seems like the real deal and is a kind person, which is something that Pisces really need. Particularly, we all need kind people in our lives, but you're very sensitive souls, so you're easily hurt by people who are more blunt, who are more insensitive to people's feelings, and might not be bad people, might not be abusive people, but just kind of are clueless when they are hurting other people's feelings and that sort of thing, tactless. And so maybe you've met somebody who is different from the people that you've met in the past and has given you a reason to hold out hope that all is not lost and that you're actually going to have a wonderful future. And I hope that at least some of you are experiencing this. Remember also that this is a general reading. So I am supposed to be covering every last Pisces person on this planet. Oh, that was a bunch of peas. And obviously, that is way too massive a task to accomplish. So I hope at least some of this resonates with you. For other people who are single, you still may be in a great frame of mind for whatever reason. I wanted to talk about the astrology that's happening with you and romance. And recently, Jupiter has entered your seventh house. So, this is the house of long term relationships. So, maybe this is what is giving you this sense of optimism and the faith that you will attract the partner of your dreams at some point. I will say that being in the frame of mind as what the star card embodies is always a good plan because like attracts like, as far as I'm concerned. And when you are pessimistic about something, the world tends to confirm your attitude, and then you're really convinced that that everything sucks, you know? And obviously, that's not the goal when you're looking for a relationship. But I do believe that with this card that there is every reason to think that many of you are in a good place emotionally. And so the message from the universe for October, Pisces, is the 10 of Swords. And this is one of those cards that's like so dramatic. And with the Rider Waite deck and my deck, which is Morgan Greer, it's very, bloody, really, this man with all these stab wounds. But it really symbolizes that the worst is over. If that's something that has been plaguing you, if you are in a problematic relationship, maybe you are fighting with someone, or it could be that you're getting a divorce and there's a lot of contentious energy surrounding it. It seems that it's already reached its peak and now will be subsiding. I will say that there's an alternative explanation for this card, and it's just reminding you, Pisces, that you cannot accept abuse, whether it comes in the form of someone who is overly critical or someone who is insulting to you, or God forbid, even worse than that, on the physical level, that you deserve better. And this is something that some, maybe not all, Pisces have to confront at some point in their life. And of course, every sign will have people that have to confront this as well. But Pisces tends to be a martyr. And it's the last sign of the zodiac. It's like the Christ consciousness. And so there's this tendency to gravitate towards situations where you're forced to, where you must sacrifice. And you do so willingly. But sometimes when the going gets tough, you're not above grumbling about your situation and feeling as if you're a victim. And the problem with this is that it's a very low energy place to be when you don't have that kind of sense of self empowerment. And so you want to watch out for any kind of relationship which puts you in this position where you feel like a martyr. And this involves you being assertive and asking for what you need and not expecting people to read your mind. So, advice that is being given to you is the Six of Cups in reverse. And this is a card in its upright position that deals with the nostalgia of the past, of childhood in particular. And with it reversed, it's showing that you may be clinging to the past. And I, I think it's usually associated with earlier times that were more innocent. And so it could literally mean childhood, but I think it can mean anything that has already come and gone. So if you are still hung up on a former relationship, you might even be seeing things through rose colored glasses, which is causing you to distort reality. Then you have to stop and you have to get back to the present and deal with life as it is right now, because Pisces has a tendency to escape. That's the Neptunian part of you that loves fantasy versus reality, because reality can be quite harsh. And in a relationship, you have to have your wits about you so that you can make the best choices. So, also, if you are trying to get into a new relationship, if you're still hung up on the past or you're comparing a current situation to the past, it's very difficult for anything to move forward. So it's just reminding you and asking you to let go of that in however way you can do so. Sometimes it might take, some sort of energy work. They have energy work called cord cuttings and things of that nature that can help you to dissolve any kind of energy that's connected to another person, that sort of thing. And then the action step to take is the Fool in reverse, which is just basically telling you to look before you leap. And so if you have a tendency to kind of drop everything and jump into a new romance and move in with someone in a month, that's probably not the best idea. There might be exceptions to that, or get married, in a short period of time. You want to avoid being impulsive. You want to avoid being thoughtless when you are embarking on a new relationship. And this card is just basically advising that you be cautious. You don't have to be overly cautious, but at least be discerning in what you're getting involved with and that you don't do things too rashly. And then the outcome card for this reading is the Seven of Swords. And so this is a card that I think in your context really means that you cut through the illusion of the person. So if you're involved in a relationship, is that you really become very clear headed. And it can also mean that you are avoiding facing the truth. But I interpret this card to mean that some of you may decide to be on your own for a while because you feel that you're functioning better that way. But other people, this card may indicate that you're going to have to be a little bit more, that you will be a little bit more savvy in dealing with other people, and that you will not allow other people to manipulate you because you kind of have their number and you are on top of things. And you might even hide. This is all about hiding something. So it doesn't have to be that it's something dishonorable. The sevens equal kind of deception, but it can also mean that you're crafty in hiding your true feelings or true motives so that you are able to get on top of a situation and not allow yourself to get fooled by another person. So that's what I'm taking from it. So it just means that being a little bit more savvy and sophisticated when you're dealing with other people so that you're not naive, because that's kind of what I was getting at with Pisces, is that you have an innocence and a naivete sometimes that other people might try to take advantage of. And this last card is kind of like you being on top of that kind of a game and one upping them in that kind of arena. Sometimes you can't show all your cards, and that's not playing a game. It's making sure that no one tries to manipulate you, especially if you've experienced that in the past. So, Pisces, I hope that you got something from this reading. And again, if you'd like a personal reading, just click on the link below. And I'm also offering life path readings using astrology, numerology, and the tarot in order to possibly nudge you in the direction of your dreams. So, until next month, Pisces, take care. Bye.